Hello, everyone. This is Rocket Jeff Maycheck. How's it going? How's it going? What I'm about to show you is footage from Maury Povich show, and I'm only going to point out where I am. Okay. Yes, I was on TV.
Newlyweds with a new baby. Lori Zambrana is Bill Freeman's daughter by previous.
There might be a
She
copyright
lived
on
with
here,
Dad
so.
until her parents divorced when she was 13. Today, Bill Freeman is serving a life sentence for murder.
Just so you know, this is from 1993.
You had one happy year with Bill, Martha, as I understand it. What was he like before all this happened?
Bill and I had what you'd call a whirlwind romance. We fell madly in love, drove out to Las Vegas, and was married in a very romantic, quaint little wedding chapel there. Bill was the type of man that he was everything that I could ever wanted. Wonderful, generous, loving, supportive.
No, that's not my family. This is on TV.
And then you got an injury, a bad injury, back injury. Started taking medication, of which some of the medication was Halcyon, which is prescribed as a sleeping pill, and began drinking too and taking some other medication. What was Bill Freeman?
You can tell because Maury Povich is so young.
Bill was a different person. The man that I lived with during this time was no longer the man that I knew. He became very paranoid.
And then some other classmates with me too.
He turned away
and my
friends,
broadcasting teacher. And
paranoid behavior is people are out to get me.
Yes.
People are out to kill me.
Arms get tired.
Yes.
There are people all over here. They're watching me all the time. Is this your husband?
Yes.
Tell you what, Maury Povich is a really nice guy.
Close friends.
I have his autograph. I'll show you later. Sometime.
That he would do that he had no recall of later.
Would he get violent?
No, he was never violent.
It's a sad story, you know.
I never feared Bill.
But he couldn't remember what he did.
No, he couldn't.
Oh, that girl kept looking at me.
Think of the side effects of this particular medication, Halcyon, which we're talking about. Amnesia. I mean, was it like amnesia?
Yes, it was amnesia. For instance, he would be at home, and my daughter, I had a teenage daughter that lived in a home with us, and she would come home and ask Bill if she could take the truck and go out with her friends. And of course, he'd tell her, sure. This child, a teenager, would go in and do her hair and her cosmetics and get herself all dialed up and ready to go out and ask for the truck keys. And Bill would become very vocal and
Should have used my phone stand.
He would be yelling at her, you don't make plans with your friends. You don't take it upon yourself to be ready to go places without my permission. You ask before you make these plans, because he had absolutely no recall.
Lori, what else would he do after he changed like this?
You know, I was really sick that day. I wasn't feeling good either. So.
What happened after?
Very bizarre behavior. He took my brother and I out to our river cabin on Dove Creek at one point in time and asked us if we were ashamed of him and if we still wanted him to be our father. And if we didn't, to say so.
I'm there. Just be patient. You'll see me. I'll point it out.
Out of it
I'm wearing turtleneck. And I think I have a sweater on because it was cold, you know.
Like that.
It was during the winter
What did you
time.
think when you heard about what he did to his friend?
Well, we knew him. He was a friend of our father's, and it was kind of like somebody had said to me, the world is made of snow. I didn't believe it.
Your father couldn't possibly kill anybody, could he?
No. He was a police officer.
Bill Freeman is with us, and he is in prison in Texas. Your friend Donnie, do you have any reason now, as you speak to us, Bill, as to why you committed the worst act anyone could commit?
No, sir. Not any reason at all for it.
I do not own the copyrights for
Do you
this.
remember what happened?
My arm's tired.
What I can remember, and the best way to relate it to you, is it was like waking up from a bad dream in the middle of the night.
Ricky.
When you're laying there trying to recall whether what you dreamed is true or you imagined it. And that's what the
Man, I
entire
hope the
experience
family's
for me
doing
was
good,
like.
you know.
When did you believe, Bill,
Hey, there's my
this
teacher.
kind of
No, that's not me. That's
strange,
Nick.
bizarre
There's
behavior
Nick.
you exhibited 7
I'm
years
right
ago
there. See me? Right behind Maury
came
Povich. That's
from the
me.
fact
That's
that
me
you
right
were
there. That's
taking
there.
significant
There's my
amounts
history
of
teacher over there in
Is that only
broadcasting.
recently?
Or no, I
Wait,
was
you'll
in
see more of
prison for a
me.
year
Just
and a
wait
half
for it.
before the first
Wait for
story
it!
about Halcyon came out.
I
And
do
to me
some
and my
heavy
family,
thinking
it
and
was a
as
great
I'm listening.
revelation. It was finding the answer to all the bizarre behavior and for the act itself.
Did you think about that immediately, Lori and
See,
Martha? That,
that's
my
me.
God,
That's me.
It's the medication that did all this.
Yes. When I read the the transcript from 2020 is what we heard. And when I read it and read the side effects, it wasn't like Bill suffered one or two. He suffered all of them.
Now, this is what happened. Bill Freeman took one of his best friends and killed
Come on,
him.
go back to me. Go back to me. Go back to
He
me.
was convicted of murder and is spending the rest of his life in
That's a
prison.
sad story, you
That
know.
was his sentence in Texas. And then comes this revelation about Halcyon. Martha and Lori hire an attorney. They sue the pharmaceutical company for $100 million. And just this past week, they get a judgment for $2.1 million. Okay, wait a minute. But this is the strangest, most bizarre judgment you have ever heard. Because what happened was that in that judgment of $2.15 million, 20% of the blame for Bill's behavior rests with.
Has anybody
the
ever seen
pharmaceutical
this?
company. Is that right?
Anyone from the U.S. have
30%
seen
of the blame,
this?
according to this judgment, rests with his doctor. But 50% of the blame, according to this judgment, rests with Bill Freeman himself. And you're going to stay in jail, aren't you, Bill?
It certainly appears that I would, sir.
Yeah. And your family might get some money, but you're going to stay in jail. Is that unbelievable for a judgment? What do you think about? That's, to me, the most bittersweet victory I have ever heard of, Martha and Lori. I mean, I don't know how to react if I were you. Are you happy because finally somebody admitted that it wasn't his fault entirely? Or do
Yeah,
you
he
think,
was-
"Oh, my dad,
he was
let me deal with
innocent.
the rest of my life"?
Admitting that it was the pharmaceutical company's fault. We all know this. It can be proven. That's not going to give me my father back. That's not going to give my son his grandfather.
It's really sad, you
I
know.
don't care about the money. I've never had money in my lifetime, ever. I don't care about it. But I want my dad.
Medication
My
can really
son-
mess you up,
my
you know.
son does not know his grandfather. That's what I cared about.
Guess what? Is it possible that a sleeping pill can turn a man like Bill Freeman, who, by the way,
Yeah,
was a
sleeping
law
pills.
enforcement officer, into a monster? Make him kill his best friend? We'll find out that when we come back.
Hopefully there's not too many commercials. Okay, there we go. We're back.
After Bill Freeman was sentenced to life for murder, his family saw a TV show about the side effects of Halcyon, and all of Bill's symptoms were the same as the man on television. So they hired a lawyer and sued Upjohn, that's the company, claiming Halcyon turned Bill Freeman into a killer. Randy Johnston is the Freeman family's lawyer. Lots of.
Anyways,
First of
you
all,
saw
at
me.
this criminal trial, what was the
There is
premise?
one point where Maury
Criminal
stands
trial
there and you
was,
see me for a long time
It's just
with
an
my other
extension of how
classmates,
bad
Nick,
shape Bill was
Brian,
in. The criminal trial was kind of a combination.
and Jeff
Maybe it
O'Prandy.
was self-defense. Maybe it was an accidental shooting. He really didn't.
I wonder if
have
they
any kids
remember
at that
this.
time because he didn't know about Halcyon. And was he also very fuzzy as to what was happening that day? And did he remember it?
Hey, any of you
I don't
people,
know if
are
he
you
remembered
there?
it or not. You'll have to ask Bill that. I know the story.
You could say, hey, I'm there. I'm in the crowd.
Bill, you know how you killed your friend?
I'm sorry.
Do you know how you killed your friend?
Yes, sir. With a 22 caliber rifle.
We had this question for you, Bill.
What about the victim's family? What are they getting out of it? You know, they lost a loved one. Your loved one is still alive and in prison. What about their loved one who's dead, and yet you're getting $2.1 million? What are their compensation for it?
We asked the Hazelwood family if they would become a party to this lawsuit with us. They were my father's friends, our friends. They didn't want to get involved. They dealt with their grief by putting it away. Somebody had to fight these people, and that's what we wanted to do. We wanted justice to prevail, and that's why we sued. And by the way, I don't know if we'll ever see that money.
Why?
Probably not. Who cares?
Why?
Because they're going to appeal it. All I wanted was my father back. That's all I wanted.
Dr. David Barizer is a psychiatrist at Regent Hospital and an expert on psychopharmacology. Is Halcyon a dangerous drug?
What you find is that, in fact, Halcyon is a very safe medication when used appropriately under a doctor's prescription.
Did you read about how Bill was using it?
Somebody had mentioned to me that he was taking 0.5 milligrams a day.
Bill, how much were you taking? Is that right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Taking 0.5 milligrams a day. And
For
then you
over
were
600. For over 600 days.
for over 600 days.
Yeah.
And were you on any other medication?
Some muscle relaxants, just the stuff that the doctors prescribe.
Sorry.
Muscle relaxers and some Vicodin.
And as I Vicodin.
Yeah, which is a pain medication.
Okay. And as I understand it too, there were instances where you were drinking as well.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I was.
All right, that's what he was taking, doctor. What does that say to you? 600 days of 0.5 milligrams.
Well, let's start with the Halcyon. The recommended dosage and duration of treatment for Halcyon is not more than 0.25 milligrams a day for
We're taking twice as much.
That's right, for 7 to 10 days.
Murray, there's something needs to be brought out here. The doctor's talking about today. That's not the recommended dose or the recommended duration in 1985 to 1987.
I don't even know if this is going to go up or not. The
The
whole point of showing this is because I wanted to show you that I was at Maury Povich with my classmates, and I forgot that I had this on tape.
Time to say that we
So.
invited Upjohn to join us today, and they declined, but they did send us statement. Upjohn vehemently
Yeah, Maury
disagrees
Povich is a
with the
cool
jury's
person.
decision and will certainly appeal. Independent experts reviewed the scientific evidence in May and concluded that Halcyon is safe and effective when used as recommended in the label.
Maury, can I respond to Randy's comment?
Sure.
I think it's important to
My arm's getting
realize
tired.
that Mr. Freeman was also taking another medication at the time, namely alcohol, in addition to the others that you mentioned. And I had said,
Yeah, don't mix
that
alcohol with
Halcyon is safe
your
when taken in
medication.
an appropriate manner prescribed by
It's
the
not
physician.
good.
Now, good medical practice would not include prescribing Vicodin and alcohol along with Halcyon.
Now, I'm a patient.
Oh, there's that girl who's
Go out
looking
to
at me.
dinner. I have a couple of glasses of wine. You have prescribed the minimum dosage of Halcyon.
See, she's in the middle. They're in the middle row now, and we're all the way on the right side.
0.25 milligrams of Halcyon. Am I in danger?
Most likely not. I'm not sure how much Mr. Freeman was drinking. I did hear, however, that whatever.
Because I tell you what, when I saw her, I was like, damn.
Blackouts, which, by the way, can be attributable to alcohol. alone.
Probably married now, though.
When we come back, it's a picture that you paint of this medication. That, by the way, what, millions of people in this country take it?
That's right. In fact, Halcyon is the most widely prescribed sleep medication in the
It
world.
surely is. In this country, it is. And guess what?
Shaky, shaky. My arm is shaky.
In Britain and Holland, a lot of countries are taking a look at it. If it's so safe, why did those countries do that? We'll be right back.
Somewhere I have a football highlight tape, well, but parts of it anyway, and I'll show you that as well.
Randy, I mean,
I never did. The guy right there, he gave me a card, and I never did get connected. He's a graphic artist. Or there was a company that did graphic arts, and I was telling him about how I did all the drawings and stuff. And I still have the card, but I don't know what happened, you know. So I hope nobody's getting bored or not having too much nosebleed. But the whole point of showing this is that I wanted to show you that I was on TV. I was on TV. Yes, in '93, I was on I was at the Maury Povich show.
Aggression, hostility, and rage. Since the FDA began keeping statistics,
Yes.
this isn't fiction. This isn't made up. The FDA cannot explain it.
4 in the afternoon.
In England, they revoked the license over there. The FDA changed the prescription requirements here.
And
You
it's
can't get the drug
Saturday,
with
but
antibiotics.
out there it's Sunday. So happy Sunday, everybody.
Believes that
Happy
he
Sunday.
feels safe with his patients taking this drug. You don't find any problem.
Why do you
Do
feel
your
like
patients
that's
take 0.5 milligrams?
I would, for 2 years, my
Would you
patients
prescribe
don't
it that
take
way?
0.5 milligrams along with
Do you-
Vicodin and
Do you
alcohol.
rely on the package inside?
I need to use my
Do you
phone. When I do
really
my
get
video
information
games,
that
I'm
that's
definitely
right?
going to try and
They
see if I
didn't
can get my
provide
phone
adequate
stand set
warning
up
for the
so I
drug,
can
and
do
I
the
thought it
games
was taken
next.
in 0.5 milligrams for 2 years.
At the time Bill Freeman was drinking with this drug, the warning for alcohol was the same you get for cough drops today, basically. It's totally different today.
He was drinking also because of excruciating pain in his back from bone fusions and
Maury,
back injury.
I agree with you. It's a very unusual decision, and I think it's really interesting to speculate about where this kind of decision comes from. And when I consider it, it seems to me that what's happened here is this decision really reflects an American tendency to scapegoat. In fact, there's been
Anybody believe that? In the scapegoat in this case, this is as this woman pointed out to me during the break, is the person with the deep pockets. And the deep pockets is Upjohn.
the doctor, the pill, and the pharmaceutical company. There's been cases recently about another medication, Prozac.
Let's talk about Prozac.
Just let me finish.
Prozac has 1/5 the number of reports for aggression that this drug has.
And it just happened to be on there too.
Halcyon has 5
So I did
times
that.
as many reports for hostility, aggression, suicide.
It was on
rape,
VHS, but I
violence.
transferred to
You
DVD.
shout me down, but that doesn't change the facts.
No, it doesn't.
Let me continue, okay? There's been a case where somebody used the fact that they had eaten a Hostess Twinkie as a defense for their murder.
I was
We're
there.
all familiar with these stories. Okay.
I was
Now,
there in San Francisco for that.
Where does this mentality arise from? It arises from an American tendency to point the finger at somebody or something outside of ourselves and say, that's the culprit, that made me do it.
Why would Britain ban it?
Good question. If you look at the data, the reason that Britain banned it is because one of the investigators on their pharmaceutical review board seems to have a particular prejudice against the medication. He is concerned about some data that was entered incorrectly during the original field studies. This was subsequently addressed and changed. Nonetheless,
Can we talk about that? That's real important. It's incredible that anyone can stand here and talk about data incorrectly entered. You know what that was? That was an underreporting of paranoia. People reporting a paranoid response taking this drug. The only long-term clinical trial this company submitted to the FDA was a total fiction. Not one person ever took the drug, Maury. It was made up.
Andy, since you seem to be so aware of the FDA, can you explain to the audience why the FDA, after reviewing the Halcyon case, has gone ahead
In case you're
and,
wondering what that
allowed
is.
it to remain on the market?
You bet.
Please do, Martha.
Fast and the Furious cars, that's what they are.
Testimony and things that I understood about the FDA involving Halcyon, the way the FDA works with individuals is they do all their own testing, their own studies. The FDA does not do any intensive studies, any testing whatsoever. They rely on the paperwork.
So what you're
From the
basically saying,
individual,
what you're alleging is that the foxes are in charge of the chicken coop.
that's exactly what I was fixing to say.
Bill, this is a question for you. When you sat down with your doctor, when he gave you the prescription, did he tell you the side effects of this medication?
No, sir.
He never told you that, Bill.
No, sir.
Bill, Lori, Martha, this is
Bill Chef of Brandy.
what's the future? Lori, what do you think the future is of your father and your family?
I have no idea, Maury.
Martha, what do you think?
We have an 8-year-old son that has spent the last 6 years visiting inside of Texas prison systems. At this point, I don't know when that will ever end.
Bill, when your daughter was talking and somewhat emotional, I saw you tearing up.
There she is again.
What do you think the future is?
What I think my future is?
Yeah.
My future's in the hands of God. And past that, I'm just going to leave
Amen.
it there. The verdict was an answer.
Should have done a live stream at
My
this
children
point.
know the truth now, and they can hold their heads up again.
It's a long
and look at
video.
their father with pride.
Might get cut off, you
The
know.
answer to that prayer was all I ever asked
So
for.
sad.
Now, the problem with Halcyon Since I've been in this unit, 2 people have approached me who've had unfortunate experiences with halcyon. One of them was a prison guard, and the other one was one of the preachers that come here. And both of them relate having lost whole days in their life before they got off this drug. Now, I don't know why on a prison unit this small that if 2 people have had these kind of experiences that it's not more widespread. I just can't believe that what happened to me hasn't happened to other people. And
This is just a test. I don't know if this will go through or not.
Do you think about that day 7 years ago?
I try not to. I've had to bring it up several times. I never deal with it quite well, but I know now why it happened. And
I shouldn't do that. Sorry.
You know, I think Donnie's still dead. Nothing's ever going to bring him back. That's what's important to me. There's no money. There's nothing else that can bring him back. You know, so I know who's accountable for it now, and so do my children. Past that, that's also important.
Well, I can tell you that your daughter and your wife who I've met today are very dedicated and very loyal to you. And maybe if the verdict did anything else, maybe it did what you said it would do, and that they can hold their heads high. They don't have to live in shame. And as far as housing, at least we get from the doctor. Go to your doctor. What he tells you to do it. Don't do anything more with that medication than your doctor prescribes. And you feel that the doctors now know, in terms of that medication, what the prescribed dosage should be.
I think there are 2 real important points here. Point number 1 being, again, that halcyon, when used appropriately, is a very safe medication. Point number 2, most important, as a result of this media scare and all this publicity, I hope that none of the listeners and viewers will stop.
Are you
taking
sick now?
suddenly, because that brings a whole set of other problems and extremes.
One final question. You're not advising about that.
Absolutely not.
The doctor's point is very well made about don't stop taking it without seeing your doctor, because the withdrawal symptoms are where the hell starts with this drug.
That's right. In fact, you were still on this medication, as I understand.
There I am. There I am. That's me.
yes, sir, all the way through my trial, I didn't get off of it until the day that I left to go to prison.
I'd like to make a comment too. Because of the media and the fact that society does know about the side effects now, people do have a choice about taking the medication or not. At the time that Bill was taking this medication, we didn't have that choice. We didn't know about the side effects.
I thank you so much.
See, that's me. That's me. And there's Nick and Ryan, and then Jeff O'Prandy, and then Miss Bjerke's around here somewhere.
Thank you for having me. Our best to you. You seem such a great family. And Randy, thank you very much.
So that's it.
We'll be back right after. Hamlet talks about the amazing story behind.
If you like that video, please give me the thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, share, and keep on stomping. And that's it. I'm not there. I'm not in this one.
Popular composers of our time. He has written music from Broadway hits
Goodbye.
like
I don't know. I just like cars, you know. Hey, Fast and Furious. Actually, this one is oh, my fingers are not in the right spot. This one right here, that's from Hobbs and Shaw's. Okay, so that's not a Fast and Furious car. Near is that one, or the Lamborghini, or that one back there. But those who know are familiar with the Fast and the Furious, you should know which they are. So, but that's it. If you like this video, please don't forget to give the thumbs up, subscribe, share, and don't forget to leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of that story. And if you saw me, because I did point me out. In '93,